How to actively read fucking people's minds. My fucking god. So, actually everything is broken right now. Everything is fucking broken right now. I do just have to record this again. Fortunately, is this working? Yeah, it should be working. I guess. It's most of the time even as, quite too loud even, so it should be fine. Yeah. Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. The funny thing today is that I actually do not have to record, because I actually I did record an episode for today, yesterday, I guess. No, it wasn't Sunday actually, it wasn't Sunday. But because I do have time right now and I do not know, I could just learn something for school, something I could totally do, or I could actually finally just cut the vlog. But I actually decided to just record instead for tomorrow, because I'm fucking pumped to be here and to record this. And today is actually going to be something different, because we actually just finished both summaries that I begun, or whatever it is fucking called. And therefore, we're just going ahead, or we're just starting with a new one, which is incredibly great, I think, at my point of view, which is, nothing. I'm sorry. It is somehow very, very interesting that often the source somehow goes away, and therefore I'm not quite able to actually, Wow, thanks a lot. As you can see on the screen, or for all the podcast listeners, we are going through 10 rules, or 12 rules, actually 12 rules for life, an antidote to chaos by Jordan B. Peterson, which seems to be a number one bestseller. I don't fucking know, and there's some kind of a note. One of the most important thinkers to emerge on the world stage for many years. The Spectator, with a foreword by Norman Deutsch. Is it Deutsch? It's Doidge. So, I don't know. But which is basically, I guess, at my point of view, if I'm just rating it, or if I'm just giving it a title for Amazon or somehow, I would say this is actually about psychology. But as I said, I don't actually know. I really don't know. But there are 12 rules for life, which are, at my point of view, incredibly valuable, or could be incredibly valuable for you. So I'm very excited for it, to be honest, because I actually had a look on a few books on the alanchang.com website. The problem with a lot of them is that it is so incredibly detailed and also long, and especially long in terms of actually me being forced to read long periods of the episode, which is something I particularly don't like, and I also think that this is not going to just give a lot of value to the people. On the other hand, I do just have to say it is good for the people, especially for those who are just only listening to the podcast and that just, want to get the information and whatsoever, but do not want to read it, or do quite not have the time to read it, because actually listening to it is way faster. It is way, way faster than actually just fucking reading it. Just have to see if everything is okay. Everything is turned off. Seems to be okay. I'm gonna start, I guess. 12 Rules for Life is a collection of life principles that, if followed, are meant to improve your life. It reached the number one spot on Amazon's bestseller list, and clearly resonates with a lot of people. Its author, Jordan Peterson, a clinical psychologist and new Toronto professor, argues that modern secularism and reliance, I think it's reliance, but I don't know, it's RELIANCE, on science has left a void in answer to important existential questions. Like, for example, what is the point of living? Why do bad things happen to good people? And what am I supposed to do to make myself happier? And why does life have so much suffering? Does it rain? I'm not sure. Without a clear guidance structure, you might feel directionless, and you may be prone to nihilism. It's nihilism. I completely don't know what this actually is. He could not accept Bacon's nihilism is instancy that man is a futile being. Negativity, cynicism, pessimism, rejection. It is always great that if you're just looking something up in the dictionary, whether it be offline or online, that you get the exact same fucking word than in English. Or just in a language you're just looking it up. But yeah, complaining is a piece of shit. There's no point to anything. Existential angst and misery. You may blame the world for being unfair to you, while spending your time on things you know are counterproductive. You may feel stuck and unable to change. 12 Rules for Life is Jordan Peterson's attempt to fill the void. It is his prescription for how people should behave and how they should deal with the vagaries of life. It covers why you should stop telling lies to others and yourself, why you should stop doing things you know are bad for you, and how to pursue what is truly meaningful for you. If individuals can take charge of their lives, then society can cure its illness or ills. The general points in 12 Rules of Life are undoubtedly things you've heard vaguely in the past or even clinched, but for some reason the way he articulates his prescriptions carries considerable power and gravity. It will remind you of what you didn't know you knew, which is always something that I just talk about as well, but I have never ever found quite the exact same words or just the right words that I wanted, and I do kind of feel like he is doing. So I'm just really willing to read this again. So the general points in 12 Rules for Life are undoubtedly things you've heard vaguely in the past or even clinched, but for some reason the way he articulates his prescription carries considerable power and gravity. It will remind you of what you didn't know you knew, which is the point, because we all know so many things, and we all know, certain beliefs and whatsoever, and things that we should be doing, and things like, okay, you shouldn't drink that or eat that because afterwards you will feel bad, and we're still doing it. We know this shit, but we aren't kind of just giving any attention to quite what we know, maybe. But I do really believe, or I could just think about it as like, yeah, it could actually be just only his articulations or how he's presenting the information to the people that is actually so impactful. But we'll see. We'll totally see. And I hope that the author of this summary actually didn't somehow change the structure of the sentences or the structure of the whole text from the original book, because then the whole just articulation thing might be lost, which is something that wouldn't be so great, if it is something so great, As comments are typically rational, data-driven writer, I actually acted as a slightly better person during the week or so I read Jordan Peterson's book. It certainly wasn't because of anything new or non-clinched in his writing, but God help me, for some reason the clinches worked, which is always good. So in this 12 Rules for Life book summary, you will learn what good posture has to do with your social status, why it doesn't make sense to compare yourself with anyone else, the one tactic to become an effective listener and get people to tell you whatever's on their mind, which is actually the thing from the intro, to recap that. More explanations on the classic stereotype of women talking about the problems with men and with men wanting to fix them too quickly. how to stop blaming the world for your misfortunes and take responsibility, and a solution for nihilism or negativity, which is something that I'm looking for, because I don't know, if you just go up to people and tell them not to be so negative, yeah, it is an insight, and it's often just about realization, which is something I myself realized. It is really often like, if you just know that something is wrong and you kind of not even accept it, but you understand it and you know it, then it's a big part of actually just changing it and, getting to the better, at my point of view at least. So I really think that actually recognizing and knowing what's going on is the first step somehow. And I do think this might even be the same thing with negativity. If people actually see, okay, they are fucking negative all the fucking time, maybe they will change. Maybe they seem to urge to, it's always about their internal beliefs and the internal desire to change. All the external things do not quite matter, If you just really don't want to just, really change from your inside, then you won't do it. But maybe these external drivers, or whatever you want to call them, may lead to you actually getting inspired or being inspired. And actually those external things may create the internal desire for yourself to change what's going on in your life. Could totally be true. And the overall summary of 12 rules for life. Most humans crave order and meaning in existence. To deal with the terrifying uncertainty of the world, for much of history, religion served this function. For example, being a servant of God. But as secularism rises, a void remains that is filled with nihilism or negativity and empty ideologies. Peterson believes that there is a real meaning and good in existence. Look at it this way. If real evil exists, in brackets, human suffering, especially inflicted by other humans, then good is the opposite of this. It is preventing evil from happening. And just somehow, I don't fucking know why, I'm just thinking about the whole plus and minus thing, like, the evil being the minus and the positivity and the positive things being the plus. And what I'm just seeing there is actually like, okay, it's plus and minus, and combine is just something or nothing quite, or actually, minus even sometimes in maths. No, but I do kind of feel like then it's neutral. Then it's somehow neutral, but I do not quite understand what he wants to say there. But yeah, you should therefore conduct your life to produce good. This will lead to meaning. This will make your existence matter. Your actions will matter. Taking care of your health will matter, and having good relationships will matter. I think so. Maybe it's just an example for actually having a bigger self. A lot of people and a lot of successful people always talk about, in terms of motivation, talk about a higher thing. Like, I want to somehow just change my kid's life. I want to just, I don't fucking know. I want my kids never to work because I'm working so hard for them, quite. Or I want to change the world. I want to bring electric cars on the planet, or just on site, and everybody's going to use them. Or I'm going to make an online payment service like Elon Musk did with Tesla and PayPal. But yeah. So the first rule is stand up straight with your shoulders back. Actually, the whole with the shoulders back thing is not actually that true, to be honest, because you could either just, put your shoulders back, or just do your shoulders back, whatever, or you stick your chest out a little bit more, which is actually the thing I should be doing. So I shouldn't just bring my shoulders back, because it would just actually give a lot of just tension on my back muscles, which is totally true. And which totally makes sense that if you're actually doing it like this and you're unused to it, then you might just fuck up a few days of yours, with actually not feeling that good and feeling a lot of tension in your fucking back. And there's a part of your brain that is constantly monitoring signals to figure out your position in society, how you see others, how others treat you, affect how you view yourself. If others koto, if others koto, it is KOWTOW, which means genuflect, or do make obeisance. Fall on one's knees before, get down on one's knees before, kneel before, salam, and what so fucking ever. You elevate your own impression of status. If others denigrate you, you lower your internal status. If you slouch, you convey defeat and low status to others, and they will then treat you poorly, which will reinforce your status. This can be reinforced in serotonin signaling related to depression. Fix your posture to get others to treat you better, which will make you feel better and stand tall, thus kicking off a virtuous cycle. It makes somehow sense. It totally makes sense. But I don't know if you could actually be like, I'm just gonna put my shoulders back and have a straight back and everyone's gonna be just so nice to me. I don't fucking know. But I do think and I do know that it will make you more confident. Which is actually something that Tony Robbins is quite often spreading. He just often says, motion creates emotion. Which means, okay, if I actually put back my shoulders and have a straight back and, turn out my chest and, just walk very confidently, then I will the chances are way higher for me actually feeling confident as well. I don't know, Harvard even proved it. I either forgot it or have forgotten it, how it actually worked or how they actually have proven this, maybe through also melatonin or serotonin or all these tonins that are out there, but they proved it. I don't know, it's quite an old study, I guess it's from 2008 or 11 or something, and it is about, I kind of feel about power moves. I think it was about power moves, but I don't know. So yeah, and I do quite also think that it could be because of the really deep connection between your mind and your body. And if you're actually changing the way your body is, you might actually also change the way your mind is. And therefore then just feel confident when you're walking confidently. Or just your assumption of or what you think is just meant by walking confidently. Like, everybody just thinks about it differently. But yeah. Or actually what society just, put into your brain what confidence is and what confident walking is. The second one is, or the second rule is, treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. This is actually something that I've read before and I didn't understand it. I quite don't know. I just didn't understand what he actually meant, or she, or whatsoever. So rule 2, treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Many people are better at filling prescriptions for their dogs than themselves. Similarly, you may self-sabotage yourself daily by not taking care of your health, not keeping promises you make to yourself. Peterson argues that you do this because of some self-loathing, that you believe you're not worth helping. Instead, you have to believe that you have a vital mission in this world and you're obligated to take care of yourself. Which is, definitely for me kind of feels like, I'm sorry for not showing you, this kind of definitely feels for me like, okay, this is a higher goal. Okay, I have a mission. I have something to do for the world. It's for the sake of the world. It's not about me, but actually being able to help the people outside there or the world or whomever. I do just have to take care about myself or of myself. Actually makes sense. But I don't know if you could trick your mind this way. Maybe you can, he's a psychologist, so why not? Actually, why not? Rule 3, make friends with people who want the best for you. it is just incredible, I think, that it is actually fairly long. Or is this actually, yeah. We are now actually at some kind of a small summary of what all these rules actually say. But in the real summary, like, quote unquote real summary, there's going to be just some very, very detailed things again, which is the thing that I love about this website, the alanchang.com website, because it's incredibly detailed and you get a lot out of it. And I kind of feel like, okay, you actually don't have to go through the book. You actually don't have, because it is such a long summary and it feels so incredibly detailed. It for sure is not the same feeling as going through a book, and maybe it doesn't resonate with you that well as well, but I do really believe that you get a lot of great insights out of the summary. I really think. But rule 3, make friends with people who want the best for you. Something I realized, because I think I haven't actually ended my fucking sentence. People around you and your surroundings in general matter a lot. Something that I quite recently realized. I don't know why. I quite realized it so late. Maybe it's not late, I'm so young, but it does matter. It really does. I'm sorry, but I have a very, very dry throat. So surround yourself with people who support you and generally want to see you succeed. You will push each other to greater heights. Each person's life improves as the others improve. They won't tolerate your cynicism, and they will punish you when you mistreat yourself. Don't associate with people who want to drag you down to make them feel better about themselves. Don't accept charity cases by helping people who don't accept personal responsibility for their actions. People who don't want to improve can't be helped. Which is basically the thing that I was talking about. Like, if the internal belief and the internal drive isn't there, you won't be able to just really change people. And something I actually also realized quite late. But if you're just thinking about it, it makes sense, For example, just think about it like you are who you are, and somebody wants to change a certain thing about you. Maybe maybe your style, the way you're clothing yourself. Maybe somebody wants to change it. And this may be a bad example, but maybe the way eating is also something that makes sense. But just something you internally actually like about yourself and won't ever change. If somebody comes up to you and tells you, okay, I want to change this certain thing about you because it's not good for you, or some shit like this, or he or she doesn't like it, then you won't be like, no, I won't do it. I won't, because it's me and I don't want to change. You just maybe want to let me change, or you want to see me change, but I don't want to, so I won't. And I guess you then won't. The thing with the clothing, and why I actually stopped that, maybe there's somebody outside who's actually not quite happy with how he's clothing himself or how she's clothing herself. And actually a person who's coming up to you and telling you, okay, I can change the way you're clothing so that you're looking better. I guess some people, and even a lot of people, I think, who do not have any kind of clue about how to clothe and whatsoever, they might even just really think like, why not? Rule 4, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Makes sense to just what I'm just thinking about, which is, okay, you will never know what they've did to just really be at this certain point in their life, There are a lot of athletes who are just the same exact age as I am, which is 18, and they're so successful. Like, I think it's called Dybala. Is it Dybala? The French soccer player who is, I guess, 18 or 19 years old, who actually just, played in the World Cup final, or what was it, the European Championship? I don't fucking know. I don't remember. But he's done a lot. He's just playing for very big, very big, very big, just teams, and he's done a lot. And the problem is, I don't know what he has done to actually be able to do what he's doing right now. Maybe he was just working out and training on himself for the last 5 to 8 years. And in the last 5 to 8 years, I wasn't doing that much intelligent shit or smart shit actually. I wasn't working on actually being a good soccer player. I wasn't working on not quite. I did play soccer in the last 8 years, also in a club actually, but I didn't work too hard on this because it wasn't like my goal or something. For sure, he has a lot of talent. I do not want to deny that, but people still work. But let's actually see what they say. As with mass media, it is easy to compare yourself to the best of every field, looks and wealth and marriage, career, and think of yourself as miserably outclassed. But modern society is so complex that everyone has different goals, which makes comparing to other people pointless. Well, I don't think so. There are a lot of societies and a lot of groups, or some little societies that actually have the same values and goals and whatsoever, and the same just perception of status, which might be about wealth, which might be about a great marriage, and which might be about a great career or looks. So you can compare yourself to them, basically, at my point of view. Drill deeply into this content and understand what you want and why. So basically define your goals. Transform your goals into something achievable today. If it is not within your control, look somewhere else. Let every day end a little better than it started. If you do this correctly, you'll be unconcerned with other people because you have plenty to do yourself. Totally. I do think so, which is one of the great things one of the great things of actually doing what I'm doing right now. I have something to do. A lot of times actually in the past few years, I didn't have anything to do, and I always had fitness goals. I always had the goal to actually be healthy, feel good, look good, and whatsoever. But I've never ever had such a big goal. I've always had dreams, but not always such a big goal. And actually having it and having something to work on, and just putting time into and putting effort into just something that I don't know, which is just your goal and your dream maybe, is at my point of view something nice and something good. And I guess everybody should have something like this, not maybe in this kind of world or this kind of just amount, if I can call this like this. So not like so big shit, like some things that you're just feeling great about when doing, or something you can look forward to, which is always also a really great point of actually being happy. Yeah, I've read that recently. I do not know where, but actually having something to look forward to seems to be very important, and I do think so. I really do think so. But yeah. Rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Children test boundaries of behavior to learn the rules of the world. As a parent, your purpose is to serve as a proxy for society. You must teach the child what is acceptable and what isn't. Children who receive no or incorrect feedback will learn the incorrect boundaries of behavior. They will be poorly adjusted and rejected by society, which will severely hamper their happiness. If you don't teach children the rules, society will punish them for you, far less mercifully. Definitely. So set the rules, but not too many. Use the minimum necessary force to enforce the rules. Makes sense, and do think parenting is just something that's incredibly important for how a child will be at the end or in the end. For sure, we can change. I have changed. I'm totally not the same person as, I don't know, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, or a year ago. I am definitely not, because I changed a lot, and I'm definitely not the person as 15 years ago, or like not 15, but 10 years ago, when I was 8. I'm definitely not the same person. I do have, other values and whatever, and I've just developed, But you could also just develop and, turn yourself into even a worse person, like in terms of giving a fuck about your health and, whatsoever. So yeah. But this is actually it with the episode. I do hope that you got something out of it, and do hope that you enjoyed it, also from an entertainment factor on. But yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And please remind yourself of how you're going to be remembered. So quite your legacy, basically. And actually giving back to the people, even though they might have given you nothing in return, or before that, or whatsoever. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow, or actually today, but yeah, I don't know, somewhere. But yeah, I'll see you.